Riding a surfboard or a directional board in kitesurfing for many is the mecca. It's the thing that they really, really want to do. And why not? I mean, when you see these guys charging down waves on a surfboard with a kite, it just looks awesome. And believe me, it is. Even more so than just the surfboard, strapless surfboard riding is where it's really at. And it's something that more and more I see more and more people wanting to get in with. There's just one problem people have: trying to get started. Most people look at someone riding strapless and think, oh my God, it must be really difficult. How do they keep the board on their feet when they're riding? How do you get on the board in the first place? And to be honest, they have a point. Most people really struggle with the water start at this stage, with actually getting going. Why? Because you put the board on your feet, a wave comes along and steals it, or the current twists you around so much that you're now not in a position to water start. And without being locked into the board, initially it's very difficult to push the board back around. So what do you do? Well, I'm going to share with you the way that I learned to do this. I'm not necessarily saying it's the best way, but it's a way that I decided was the way I was going to learn, because I was really struggling with this as well. Because in Tarifa, we get periods where we get the poniente wind, where the water's very choppy all the time. And this was when I decided to learn strapless. So the biggest problem I had was keeping the board on my feet whilst getting ready and actually preparing for the water start. So what did I do? Well, the way I figured it, what I needed most was flat water. Now, how was I going to get that when all the time it was chopped? Well, when the wind's lighter, obviously the water's flatter and there's less current going on if you pick the right time of tide. I also didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't want to go out and spend a ton of money on a new surfboard, which was 600, 700 euros at the time, when I didn't even know if I was going to like it. So I had a mini mal sat in the garage I hadn't used for ages, an 8-foot surfboard mini mal. Huge thing, longboard, one of the things that people learn to surf on. So I decided, look, if I combine that with my biggest kite, which at the time was a 12 meter, the volume of the board and the size of the kite should combine to mean that even in really, really light winds, I can actually do the water start. Maybe I can't ride, maybe there's not enough wind to ride, but I can at least practice the water start, go through the motions and get used to keeping the board on my feet. So that's what I did. I took my minimal out, my huge kite, and I practiced. Now, why did I do this? Well, because big board, large kite means very, very calm sea state. The water was almost flat. You know, I'm talking about sort of 8 knots of wind here. The water was so flat that you could just put the board on your feet, it would stay there, and you could go through the motions of water starting. Which is so important when you're riding strapless, because just trying to keep that board in place without you rotating under it is really difficult. Why? Because there's suddenly so much volume in front of your front foot. If you think about a twin tip, you stand in the middle of the board. On a surfboard, you're standing very much towards the back. And a surfboard obviously is designed to pivot around the back of the board. So it screws around very, very quickly. So you really have to push it away and pull in with your back leg to keep it in the position that you want to water start. So doing it in really light winds, in flat seas, in calm waters, really means that you can practice this over and over again until you nail it. And then from there, once you know, wow, this is amazing, this is for me, then you can go out and buy your fancy surfboard. If you found that useful, we've got a Facebook group where we discuss all these different types of problems. We have tips, we have tricks, we have all the latest advice and news from the kitesurfing community, and it's a great place to come and find out more. Why? Because in a Facebook group, you can ask me a question and either I or a member of the community can respond to it almost instantly. So you get instant feedback on what you need at the moment. Now, the link should be in the notes below this video or above this video, depending on where you're watching it. Click the link, you'll be taken over to our Facebook group, hit the join button, and I'll speak to you on the inside, guys. If you enjoyed that, as always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.